Good evening, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, all over the world. My name is Elder Lady Amber Dawn, and I'm having a wonderful class on Shango, uh, the fourth warrior of the warriors, which are um, Elegua or Eshu, depending on your tradition, Abatala, Osan, Osan, um, Chango, and Ogun. So they make all the warriors and Ifa, Santeria, Yoruba. But in Vudan, it's just Ogun and Shango that are the warriors because everybody wants to make it a little different. So before I start, I'm gonna have two prayers to Shango, and then I'm going to start talking and start showing pictures and and other lovely things like this, a double-sided axe. This was a birthday present, I guess about 30 years ago. So, and it still looks like I just took it out the store. But that's Shango and Thor share similar type of axe. Thor's is more like uh, a big hammer, and it's Malagon. Malagon. It's shaped like this, and it comes down. Where Shango's, well, it's actually shaped like this is one of my prize Shangos. Kind of bigger, more of an axe, where Thor's is more of a hammer. But let me start with a prayer. And since I have some people here, maybe I ask a couple questions because we're trying to find out all about this mysterious man named Chango. Oh, great Chango, king of the Orishas, I turn to you for help. Protect me from bad energies and vibrations, and deliver justice and power against my enemies. Grant me courage, faith, and blessings so I may search with hopelessness for prosperity and harmony in my life. Watch over my loved ones, grant them respect and spirit. Help me carry out rituals to benefit our souls, humanity's children, and all of those who seek your guidance. With fervor, I accept your guidance and delivered by a lightning bolt into peace and prosperity enabled by your greatness. Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. Then I have another one by Sally Sally Glassman, who lives in New Orleans, who I actually met about 2 years ago when I was down at New Orleans. Uh, and it comes from Voodoo Visions and page 156, all about Shango. For Shango, wise and beautiful king, lord of drumming and dance, power of thunder, we praise you, Shango of the double axe, master of war and magic. The king did not die. Welcome, 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 my lord. Accept our offerings and enter our hearts, our arms, our legs. Enter and dance with us. So, and that's another Ashe, Ashe. and a double, which is in Haitian Guyana. So that was a little bit of warm up for this hopefully exciting class. So um, I'm going to start with I always asked, this is like the third time I've done this class, uh, but I always ask what people know about Chango before I start giving more information about it. So, what do you know about Chango? And before I do that, I'm wearing the traditional kind of Yoruba dress 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 costume of Shango, who is the the king of the king of justice, the king of dance, the king of glory. So this is the traditional Yoruba outfit. So, so
I'll
who?
start and say I know nothing from that, right? In Australia, history was a little bit different. My father was a Wiradjuri man, Wiradjuri woman, but uh, you're introducing me to a tradition that I know very little about. I've met somebody about 2 decades ago who talked about some of what he knew, but that's really it. So this is all new to me.
Okay, okay. Um, Don.
Well, I'm familiar with the figure of Shango, but there are many things I know that I don't know, and I'm looking forward to learning more.
All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
So let's get started. Usually ask, like I said, who knows about Shango? And, if you know about Shango, there's a couple things that stand out. This is a little bit of art that I just did to put downstairs. So when my building was having, can't see it. Oh, wait a minute. Okay.
You might need to hold it more at the level of your chest.
Oh,
There we
hey,
go.
all right. All right. I was putting this in my windows. Shago and his brother Ogun, not to have a robbery in our house. So I got these on the windows. John Lewis, actually, too. But I feel he was seriously a Shango as well. And there's always a connection between Shango and Martin Luther King Jr. So I always put this in there and I could turn it around and put that in there, which is more pictures of Shango. And strangely enough, one time we were getting something done to the house, and I don't remember if it was a plumber or electrician, but uh, the man's like uh, asking uh, my boyfriend, uh, Hispanic, me, and I'm like, no, and you know, Santeria, and he was catching the vibe. Plus, my house is like a walking. Well, there's a lot of gods and goddesses in my house, so he kind of picked up on it really quickly. So, and he didn't even go downstairs. Downstairs is where the fireplace is, and there's like so many of all of them, but the most of them are Shango, and it's on top of the fireplace, which is one of his things. Fire. Fire is a very important element for Shango, and so important that I have a red candle burning. Um, you know, Trying to get his favor and for him to not possess me because I'm not spinning around. I'm not giving specific words. I'm just paying homage to him, and I was hoping that he would you know, make it very nice and quiet and peaceful, and not, you know, screaming and having to call David to come and get me out of that state, which is possession. Um, is when they take over your body, by the way, and they do. It could be anywhere from 5 minutes to half a day, literally. So, they like to play with us, especially this time of year, but that's another class. But they like to play with us, and in turn, um, they give us good health, wealth, prosperity, protection. You know, the sky's the limit, actually. But they do need human, excuse me, human interaction, because once you are ridden, which is what possession is actually, that you can go from there and they'll engulf your body. Usually there's a spin. Um, I don't know how much that you've seen, Don or Kayleen, but there's usually a dance, and there's drumming, and there's people wailing, good wailing and bad wailing, as in they're in grief of something, and the spin. And it's not my finger, but my body spinning, or everybody's body spinning. And in between the time it starts and the time it ends, they take you in mid spin. And that's dangerous in itself, because once you spin out, you can hit a wall really quickly. I mean, really quickly. So, but no, that's for another class. But what I want to share about Chango is I put down, who is he? And I put down, he is a Loa, L-O-A. He's an Orisha, R-O-I-S-H-A. He is a prototype. He is a god. He is a servant, a Bande or Aduma in Santeria Ifa. He is the judge, jury, and executioner. Uh, but he is also Lord of the Dance. There's a lot of, well, this one to me kind of looks like he's ready to dance. And because he's got one foot off and one foot on. And, he's got the hat and the scarf in the wind, and they got the axe ready to chop down anything that's in front of him or in front of you. There's a couple other characteristics, strength, with both the male and the female sons and daughters of Chango, which has helped me a lot with. I decided I wanted to break my arm and my leg after 50. Now, why did I do that? But you have to just, they're both getting a lot better now. They are. But when I first started breaking my body parts, it was not pretty. It was not pretty. It was full of pain and full of crying and all those weeping type of things. And he doesn't like that. He wants his children to be happy and in love and in lust and dancing back and forth. So he did a lot to repair my body. Reiki did it as well. I'm a Reiki master off of 3 modalities, and faith in Shango to put you back together with his brother Ogun. Um, well, they're all in the family, sort of. A lot of brother and sister mingling. But and I tell you how the tree goes. I'm going to go back to Shango in a minute, but there's a big tree, almost like the tree of life coming down, and Bande, which is the supreme god of Budan, and Adumar, which is the supreme god of Ifa and Yoruba. They come down. Another reason why he has an axe is that his father is the volcano or Aganu, which is Agau, and his mother, Yimiya, which is the mother of fish. So there's always fire and water, believe it or not. So they got together and they produced Chango, Ogun, Oya, which ends up being one of Shango's wives. He has three, and Osan, Asan, and a couple other children. Then Bande ends up having the Israelis, and there's three of those. I have a class tomorrow about La Serene, which is one of the, and she's also made of fire and water, which is why the two are together. I wanted to keep that fire and water connection, but three Israelis, La Serene, Israeli Freya, Freda, and excuse me, Israeli Datur, Dantour. Now, La Serene is the mermaid. Everybody loves the mermaid. Freya is the person that falls in love with somebody, but they don't return her love, and it makes her go nuts, literally. And Dator is the flip side of Freya. I mean, not Freya, Freda, where she is crying and upset, all this. The other side of her is Dator, which is uh, not lack of a better word, but the ball buster, so to speak. Definitely the protectiveness for women who get raped or murdered, or children that get molested and the whatnot. She protects them. So she's the opposite side of Freya. Because Freya just wants to sit there and cry, and Dator wants to do something about it, if you understand what I'm saying. So, okay. So let me go and talk a lot more about Shango. So the basic counterparts of Shango is the numbers 4 and 6. 4 and 6. His blessed days or blessing days in Budan, it's Friday, and Ifa and Santeria is Thursday. Thor, Thursday. So, and his main colors are red, obviously, gold, and white. There is very little white on this, but you can see my leggings. So, what you get on your initiation. And when you finished, whether it's a couple of months or a year and a half, you get these lovely leggings that you get to wear. He loves. Oops. Oh, wow. 20 minutes already? Oh, it is. Oh, I guess we're going a little longer. Okay. Because I haven't even got into the surface of it yet. But his loves, food wise, apples, red apples, and I don't have an apple anywhere, but red, delicious apple to be certain. And he loves a dry red wine. And he also loves uh, yams and okra. Love the yams, but okra, it's a little bit of a required taste. And he likes all of those together. In fact, if you want to have him show up in your dreams, because I don't know if you know this, Dawn, but a lot of these Orishas and other um, gods and goddesses, which they don't like to be called, by the way, but in the Africa diaspora, if they're not um, hitting you as you spin into this possession or being ridden, they like to visit you in your dreams. So, in fact, the first time I ever thought I was Shango's daughter, or one of Shango's daughter, is that he had introduced himself in my dreams, which, a lot of people like, really? But yeah, you, you, they have control. So you just think you have control, but they actually have control. And some of the other characteristics of Shango is the lover. You know, like I said previously, like a minute ago or maybe less, he has three wives. You have Oba, Obba, which is the wife that cuts off her right ear. Yeah, cuts off her right ear and chops it up and puts it in his favorite stew, which is usually pork and okra and rice. And he eats it. Then after he's finished with the dessert, I mean the dish, more like it, he's like, what happened to your ear? And she's like, well, you ate it. And he does not like this. And this is the first sign of trouble in paradise. In fact, he sends her off to be banished. And all she does, like Israeli, is cries and, why have you done this to me? Well, how can I live without you? Type of thing. So the second wife, a little bit more rambunctious, Oshun, Ochun. She is the yellow and white of Shango, and she's definitely more of his fighting type of wife. Very flirtatious, very fashion. You can see the women of today, and you can see who they say model after Oshun, like Beyonce, for instance. I'm not saying she's Oshun, but with her blonde hair and her long nails, and she's tall, she's curvy, all the things that Shango likes. So I could see people saying Beyonce is sort of an Oshun prototype. And then there's uh, Oya, Oya. She is the mistress of cemeteries. And she is the perfect battle wife. She has her own axe, not as big as Shango's, because hers is a machete, and she cuts and cuts and cuts her way through everything. Um, what what I've seen of movies and the whatnot, the woman that was the wife of Leonis in 300, Lena, what's her name? Well, I'll get to that later. But the wife of Linus in 300 is a perfect Oya, perfect Oya. Was sitting there and takes her son out, and he's supposed to capture a lion and bring back his head, and goes into battle with Leonidas and really cuts people down and has no type of, oh, I'm a woman, I'm not supposed to be killing people. No function of that. There's none of that in her. And in Oya, she is the hurricane, the tornado, always spinning. And well, I live in Virginia, but when I used to live in Baltimore, with the water that's off of Inner Harbor, you could see the hurricanes coming across Baltimore and the winds, and it's almost like a woman's skirt rising up and falling down, rising up and falling down. So she makes the perfect wife for Chango. And some other things that you might know or might not know, and you're looking at a camp. Oh, we're not bad. Okay, sorry. A lawyer, soldier, but more like a captain, not a private. He likes rank. He does. He likes rank. He likes to be first. So first to battle, you know. So he's more of really a general, but we'll call him a captain for now. Likes fast pace, moving all the time. Sometimes when he's with Oya, you can feel the wind going almost like a fraction of a hurricane, but a lot slower. So you can actually feel his scarf, because he always has a scarf. Even in the smaller ones, he always has a scarf. You can feel that scarf whipping the wind. And just to close out, he's the number 4 in the Warriors. His number is 4 and 6. Yeah, 4 and 6. Colors are red and white and gold. 3 wives. Ova, the self-defeating wife. Oshun, likes to be pretty, but can be pretty dangerous as well. And Oya, the battle, um, the battle wife, but still very beautiful. Let's not think because she's in battle that she's ugly. No, she's quite the beauty, actually. He really likes to dance, but what he's here for, being on Earth, because um, when I was being taught by Papa Max Bouvard, who died in 2011, I believe, he was like, all the Loas, all the Orishas used to be actually humans, which is why when you look at the different statues, they all look the same or very similar. So they were human at one time and got assaulted like with Ifa and Santeria into sainthood, wherein this was an assaulted being in Budan, and they rose up and they became immortal, like the old bad B movies about the vampire or the werewolf or whatever. But they became assaulted up and became beyond human, or they took off their human suits and became gods. even though you should never say, they don't call themselves gods and goddess, they call themselves supreme beings. And that's the way that they want to be known, as supreme beings. And am I missing anything? One second. Oh, Martin Luther King. Okay, Martin Luther King. He was known for nonviolence, and Chango, despite the fact that he always carries his axe all the time, and there was some questionable behavior about why he was hanging on the tree, sort of like Odin, hanging from, well, Odin was hanging from the world tree, if I got that correctly. And Shango was hanging from, there's a kind of willow trees in Haiti that you could take off the leaves and really make rope and the whatnot. Well, he was hanging from one of those trees off of some treachery that he had did. And Odin is no Boy Scout either. There's treachery with Odin, and so, and I make it really short because I know that we're getting kind of close to, well, we're past the 30 mark, but Chango always wants to be first, always wants to be first. And his children are also always wants to be first. And he was with Timmy, which is Temi, and Banga, Gbonga. And they were sort of like the soldiers for Shango. Well, they did so well that the people in Oyo, was saying, oh, we just love seeing these young people, Timmy and Obanga, doing the work, and Shango goes into different forms of jealousy and different rages. And one of the rages is that he saw these two young black men excelling in fighting, and that's supposed to be his domain. So he tells Timmy that he has to kill Abango, and if he doesn't, Shango will kill him. So Timmy does this, and it gets brings the head of his best friend to make it even more climatic. And everybody is like, oh my God, how did this happen? And they were like, and Timmy's like, well, if I didn't do this, then Shango was going to take my head. And they're like, oh, oh my God, you are such a bad leader, and all this other stuff. And, people are like booing him and throwing rocks at him and all that, because, like I had said earlier, they were human at one point. And his main wife, which is Oya, even though he has three, was also kind of disgusted with him. And he has this idea, well, I'm going to go and hang myself on this willow tree so everybody could see, and, I'm going to be done with it. So it's the next day, and he has already hung himself, and people are like looking for him, and Oya finds him, and he's like, oh, she like, oh, the wailing again, oh. And everybody prepares to have a funeral for him, and but they leave the body at the tree. So next day, they come and they don't find a body. Okay. And he's obviously left a tree because there's nobody at the tree. So apparently Oya comes and he's like, and she's like, look up there. And he's like all over the wind, all over the air. And he's like, Cabasco, Cabasco, which is the king did not hang. So if you want to liken the Jesus and Nazareth and the boulder and the Jesus coming out after 3 days, then Chango is likened to Jesus as well. And Martin Luther King was a minister and born on Thursday. I was born on a Thursday. That's another thing in common that, you're born on a Thursday or Friday. And he was a man of justice. Chango is a Lwa and an Orisha of justice. So those two can be connected together. And King did a paper on Chango and the Orishas way before, well, I was born in the 60s, but mid 60s actually. But he did a paper on the metaphysical. And at the time, it wasn't as big as it is now with the Africa diaspora. So he did a paper on Chango. So, and everybody associated with Chango reads that paper because that's part of their history. So there's a tie to Jesus. There's a tie to Martin Luther King Jr. And he's the supreme being of lawyers, policemen, military men, and lovers and dancers and all of that stuff. So, any questions? No?
No, that's all been fascinating, is it? And particularly your comment that the Lower and the Orisha used to be humans. I've never come across that before. So, well, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. So I was a little nervous. So when I get nervous, I start to ramble. So I want to apologize for that. But I did give you some good information, though.
You did beautifully.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let us